Yahya Sinwar was the key aim for them in the war. Tonight, we've just had a statement confirming his death. He was, we believe, killed in an operation in southern Gaza. The IDF killing him. They got his body. They then had to identify it. According to police, DNA tests, dental records. He'd been in Israeli prisons in the past, so they had all of that information, but they wanted to be crystal clear. It took a long time this evening. There was a lot of anticipation, but this clearly is a big moment. But what it really means for the Middle East, the war in Gaza, the war in Lebanon, not really clear, crystal clear right now.
And we are getting live images now of the streets of Tel Aviv, people there celebrating, holding up signs, banging on drums. But the impact of this death is expected to be felt far beyond just Israel and Gaza. Our James Longman joins us now from Beirut, where we've seen tensions escalate. James, what does this mean for other regions in the Middle East and this expected retaliatory strike against Iran?
Well, look, Israel is fighting wars on multiple fronts. The front here in Lebanon is now huge. 1.2 million people have had to flee their homes as a result of Israel's invasion. Last night, the U.S. struck Houthi positions, Houthi rebels in Yemen, ahead of what we understand that Israel, wants to carry out these attacks on Iran. So people talk about, are we on the edge, on the brink of a war? We're already in a war in this region. So Israel is fighting on multiple fronts. So the opportunity now for Israel, this is the biggest off-ramp it's had out of Gaza. That is certainly what I think a lot of people are wondering at this point. And I think the focus will be on the hostage families. Once again, they will bring pressure to bear on the Netanyahu government. Really, it's down to them, extraordinary people that I've had the honor to meet over the last few months as I go back and forth to Israel. And really, it's down to them that they were able to get the first group of hostages out. This is really the biggest moment they've had in quite some time to try to put a pause to the fight, to get the rest of the hostages out. We know at least 100 still inside Gaza, many of those dead. But the question will be whether or not Netanyahu is open to that kind of pressure. The question will be what Hamas does now. Will another leader be chosen from perhaps outside of Gaza, someone who could be pressured more by Qatar, perhaps, to accept the terms of a negotiated deal? We know one of the big sticking points has been about IDF remaining inside the Gaza Strip. And, of course, the suffering of so many Palestinians. More than 42,000 have now died in this war. So many people inside Gaza have been hoping for months that there will be a way through for them to end the torment that they have experienced. So certainly this is an enormous moment for so many of the parties involved, but I think most especially, of course, for Israelis and for Jewish people all over the world. October 7th last year was a devastating attack. And I think psychologically for Israelis and for Jewish people to know that the man who planned it, who planned the murder of so many innocent people, is now dead, is a huge relief apart from anything else. And you're seeing those images in Israel of people celebrating his death. There's a long way to go now, but I think that this is singularly the biggest moment that we've had for months where this war in Gaza could start to wind down. But it is now in Israel's, the ball is in their court, so to speak, about whether or not they see this as an opportunity to do that, and if the pressure can be brought to bear on what remains of Hamas to a negotiated ceasefire. We don't know, of course, how they function. We don't know if they can function much more at the moment, but that is certainly the hope of many watching this. Diane?
And Tom, what is the psychological impact on Israel's enemies here for Hezbollah, for Hamas, not only in their physical functions, but like James is saying, the psychological impact?
Yeah, I don't want to overplay the impact on Hezbollah. I mean, look, the impact on Hamas is clear. I mean, you cut off the head of the snake, it definitely matters. But look, I mean, there's such chaos on the ground in Gaza right now after a year of war. What does it really mean for Hamas? How is Hamas operating on the ground? Very unclear. And, we could get an easier for the West to negotiate with leader of Hamas now, somebody who lives abroad in Qatar. There are many figures we can think of there. So that could be a positive move. I mean, look, for the protesters, for the family of the hostages behind me, I mean, look, they're saying enough. This has to end. That is still their main goal. So, yes, they're celebrating tonight. Yahya Sinwar's dead. They are pleased about that. They've welcomed that in a statement. But one woman I just spoke to, she came down here, and she said she feels a mixture of hope and fear. So, yes, hope that this could pave the way. That's what Israel's foreign minister is saying in a statement tonight, that, yes, this paves the way. This means a future of Gaza without Hamas. But, I think that might be, premature to start making those statements. I mean, Hamas, for many people in Gaza is an idea. It's not necessarily the structures and the people. Israel has assassinated Hamas's leaders, twice before, back in 2004, Sheikh Yassin, 2024, July, Ismail Haniyeh, we believe, in Tehran. So, look, a big moment for Israel. What it means for the Middle East, even the war in Gaza right now, I think we'll just have to wait and see.
Good context there. Tom Sufi-Burridge, James Longman, thank you both. So again, Israeli officials are confirming the Israeli military has killed the leader of Hamas and mastermind of October 7th, Yahya Sinwar. We will have much more coverage on this today. Right now, our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com, and David Muir will have the latest on World News Tonight. I am Diane Macedo. We'll return now to your regular programming.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
You're gonna be okay.
What more do you want?
What more do you want?
Let's get this started.
You were pregnant?
I keep trying to tell him. You're just another doctor.
Our new podcast, Pop Culture Moms, wherever you get your podcasts.
What you need to know right now on GMA3. Just 19 days until the final vote. Vice President Harris facing questions in less than friendly territory. And former President Trump repeating false claims about the 2020 election and January 6th. And fans mourn One Direction star Liam Payne after his tragic death in Argentina. What we are now learning.
Family members make emotional pleas to free Lyle and Eric Menendez more than 3 decades after the gruesome murders of their father and mother. The new reporting from our Juju Chang.
4 seconds. Ionescu will heave and hit! And hit! Sabrina Ionescu with the biggest shot in Liberty history.
The ice-cold shot as the Liberty take Game 3 from the Lynx. Just 1 win away from their first WNBA title. Sports journalist and podcaster Jordan Robinson is here to break it all down for us.
Plus, hockey legend Mark Messier is right here in studio on the most exciting words in sports. Game 7, zeroing in on iconic moments from the most memorable matchups.
And easy and delicious. Chef Dan Richer is here with the secret to his 1-bowl olive oil cake.
Plus, all access are George Stephanopoulos with exclusive behind-the-scenes access with Bruce Springsteen. Their conversation and our GMA3 Backstage Pass.
Now, from Times Square, DeMarco Morgan and Eva Pilgrim with What You Need to Know.
And a good afternoon and welcome to What You Need to Know on this Thursday. We love to call it Baby Friday.
I know, it's my favorite day of the week because we're almost there, people. Almost there. Dr. Darius, good to see you.
Good to see you, my man. Let's go ahead and talk medical news if we can. The American Heart Association has sent out an alert when it comes to the impact of menopause when it comes to heart health.
Now, just to understand the importance of these alerts, when they're sent out, the reason why is because the theory is behind that the public knowledge on a risk factor such as menopause and heart health goes down. And that's critical because when you don't have knowledge, you don't act. And that is the first step toward prevention. So let's just go through what these alerts are about. Number one, it's reminding the audience, the public in general, that menopause is associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. More specifically, early menopause at the age before 45 is associated with a 40% increased risk of coronary artery disease. I think also something really important, it found that 1 in 4 women who have passed menopause may develop an irregular heart rhythm. More specifically, that is AFib, or atrial fibrillation. That's associated with an increased risk of stroke. And the last important alert is that women over the age of 55, it's necessary to know that obesity amplifies the risk of heart failure. And so what do you do with all this information? If you know better, you do better. If you're going through menopause, especially if you're going through early menopause, it's really important to acknowledge that risk when you're talking to your providers, especially if you have symptoms.
Okay, because there's nothing we can do about the whole menopause of it all. We all got to go there. If you're female, it's going to happen to you, right? So how do you sort of protect yourself from these possible negative outcomes.
Yeah, I think it's necessary to know 80% of cardiovascular disease is preventable. And that is known from the things that we can do in our normal everyday life to reduce that risk. We have the 8 healthy methods produced by the American Heart Association. They include things like getting sleep, stopping smoking. But guys, the most important one is movement. Exercise has been undoubtedly the most important modifiable risk factor to reducing these risks. So it's really important to get out and move.
Got to get moving. All right, Doug, thank you.
All right, let's turn now to ABC's Melissa Adon in Los Angeles with our latest headlines. Hey there, Melissa.
Hello, Eva. So good to see you. So we've got a lot to talk about, including Election Day. We're 19 days away. So Vice President Harris has pressed her appeal to Republicans in a contentious interview on Fox News, again blasting former President Trump as unhinged and dangerous, saying her presidency will not be a continuation of Biden's former President Trump, doubling down on anti-immigrant rhetoric and again pushing false claims about January 6th, saying rioters didn't come because of him, despite putting out public calls to supporters to come to the Capitol that day. And records from a 911 call by a hotel manager are raising new questions around the circumstances surrounding the death of One Direction star Liam Payne, just 31 years old. Police say he fell from a third-floor hotel in Argentina. Witnesses say that Payne was acting erratically in the lobby before the fall. An autopsy will be conducted. And to this, the massive payout by the Catholic Archdiocese of Los Angeles, agreeing to pay $880 million to more than 1,300 people who say they were sexually abused by clergy members when they were children. It's the single highest payout by an archdiocese ever. And the FTC has finalized a new rule requiring companies to make it easier for consumers to get out of subscriptions and memberships. This is part of the Biden administration's push to cut junk fees, costing consumers big money. The click to cancel rule goes into effect in April. Now let's check in with our Ginger Z in Tampa for your weather.
Here in Tampa Bay, first day back to school after.
And let's rebuild America first. Once more. Why don't we liberate these United States? We're the ones who need it the most. You think I'm blowing to smoke? Boys, it ain't no joke. I make 20 trips a year from coast to coast.
Like Scott. I don't know what we're doing. Like F1. I don't know. I just got a text that likes for kids to look at their kids. I don't want to be like changing my ear. We could see that. Hey, buddy, you mind closing that window for a little bit? Thank you.
Gotta be close.
Oh, the Osmo?
Yo, someone put this down. Someone put this down. You know, they have the multiple vehicles so you prove you don't let certain things in, right? One pulls up,
Yeah.
whatever.
That's what we have. Nothing else. We have the cars, black cars. Oh, yeah. Two attempts.
Yeah, right?
It's like 2 attempts. It's like, let's figure out what
Oh, you had to get the same fuzzy thing, huh? You got to get the same fuzzy thing.
Leave at 7.